From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. That's the sound of Beethoven's Sixth Symphony, performed by the National Repertory Orchestra in Breckenridge. It is also the sound of about 80 young musicians honing their skills as they prepare to pursue careers in professional orchestras across the country. Since 1960, the National Repertory Orchestra has brought talented college-age musicians to Colorado to practice the art of playing in an ensemble. Students selected to join the NRO each season spend 8 weeks rehearsing and performing in Summit County. Last year, I spoke with Michael Stern, their music director and conductor, to get a glimpse behind the scenes of this unusual and influential summer orchestra. As their 2026 season kicks off, we're listening back to that conversation today.
When I'm working with young people, we're trying to create an atmosphere where they themselves can discover who they are as musicians and what they want to bring into the world. What do they want to say? And to empower them to find themselves. Many of them will go and try to find orchestra jobs. Many of them will go off to do something else in music, but they will remember their NRO experience as one, I hope, which made them connect much more deeply with their art and their craft.
Michael, the young musicians in the NRO play several concerts each week. They attend many, many rehearsals and have to learn a lot of music. How much does that demanding schedule prepare them for what they'll manage if they get hired by a professional orchestra?
The people who come to us, these young artists, are not students, although technically many of them are still enrolled in school.
Okay.
But we don't consider them as such, and we don't treat them as such. And the amount of repertoire and the breadth of the repertoire that we throw at them is pretty extraordinary. And as you mentioned, our regular schedule is 2, sometimes 3 different programs in a week.
Wow.
Which means they have to accelerate not only their ability to prepare, to absorb the music, but in rehearsal, they have to be incredibly quick. We're talking about some of the really most demanding pieces that we have.
Yeah.
Thrilling to play, thrilling for the audience, but that demand a great deal of attention. And so that's what they signed up for.
Yeah.
And I got to say, especially this year, they're loving it.
They love the intensity. That's what they're there for.
Well, they like being challenged because it raises their level.
Sure. Michael, you had an established career as a conductor, most notably with the Kansas City Symphony before you joined the NRO. What made you want to devote time to working with younger orchestra musicians?
It is incredibly energizing to work with young people. And I've always been drawn to it. I was blessed in my life to have had some really fabulous teachers who opened up the world of music for me. And if I can, in some tiny way, do that for these young people, it's enormously gratifying.
Before we continue, let's hear a bit more of the National Repertory Orchestra musicians practicing their craft. This is another clip from Beethoven's Sixth Symphony. Michael, outside of rehearsals and concerts, there is a real emphasis at the NRO on encouraging the musicians to explore Colorado's outdoors and go hiking. How important is it to learn that kind of work-life balance as a young musician?
I think, and I mean, for anybody in life, that balance is crucial.
Very
right?
true.
Because it keeps you grounded, it keeps you focused on what's important, and it makes you not sweat the small stuff because you know who you are. I mean, it is very, very difficult to say that every 18 or 21 or 25-year-old will react in the same way to pressure or to challenges. Everybody has a different way of approaching that. To have that life balance that you just talked about is essential in keeping things on an even keel because you cannot operate at your best in any field if you are frantic, right?
Right.
So I do think that there is an emphasis on the NRO to understand how lucky we all are to be in Breckenridge in this very special place and to take advantage of that. But I also think that we work very, very hard at the NRO to create a climate of collegiality and mutual support where people will feel that they are in a very safe space to experiment, to push themselves to get better, and also to make mistakes and to learn from them. That's hugely important. And I will say, I don't know what secret sauce we put in the mix this year. I don't know what if they are all drinking from some special water, but the level of collegiality among the players this year and their level of performance is off the charts. And it's so gratifying to come in at the first rehearsal and they're already playing so wonderfully well. And then over the course of a very compressed rehearsal schedule,
Right.
to lift that level even further. And it's just, I mean, you just think it makes all the work worthwhile.
Many NRO musicians do go on to play in professional orchestras around the country. What is it like for you when you look at those rosters and spot the names of musicians that you've mentored in Breckenridge?
Well, it's not just me. This is the legacy of the NRO. I mean, honestly, without any hyperbole, you cannot find a single orchestra, important orchestra in the United States in Group One or any other orchestra down the line, any of those categories has an incredible number of NRO alumni since the organization was founded in 1960. We are trying to make the NRO central to the experiences of these young musicians, not because we want them to have one good summer, but because we want them to carry what they learn from here for the rest of their careers, to pass it along, not only in performances, but also to the next generation. And it is enormously rewarding to think that we are adding to the fabric of the American musical landscape like that in a way which is really human and artistically so well focused. I mean, the integrity of these players. And I will also say, because we do get feedback from our alumni, they continue decades later to remember their experience at the NRO as being some of the most formative moments in their young performing lives. And that's everything.
That's my conversation from last year with Michael Stern, music director and conductor of the National Repertory Orchestra in Breckenridge, which, of course, is the group playing this music by Robert Schumann. The NRO's 2026 season continues through August 8th. You'll find a link to more about the NRO and their concert schedule in our show notes and at KUNC.org. That's it today for In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thanks so much for listening.